Legends rise, it's the creator's game. This is college lacrosse game.
Welcome back to Game Day. Today it's I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means. I've never seen it before. Whatever's on the teleprompter, it's not. I've never seen that before.
Just read it.
Well, there's no words on it. What do you want to read? Welcome back to Game. I can't. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Don't need the script. Do it live. We good?
We're live.
Welcome back to Game Day. Today we're joined by Syracuse head coach and legend of our game, Gary Gait, to discuss Friday night's clash at the Dome against Maryland. An all-time great Terp defender and current Atlas defender, Brett Makar, is this week's guest picker. We'll catch up in 80 seconds, but first, the shot clock.
Supernova Saturday inside Penn State's Haluba Hall. Dan Martin of Villanova scores the OT winner, 14-13.
Inside the Jones Hill House at Maryland, we witnessed the burial of Loyola. Yale transfers Johnson and Lyons led the Terps with 9 combined goals, 19-10 final.
Another indoor game. Army beats Rutgers 11-9 on the road. Gunnar Fellows was a jolly good fellow. He had 4 kills.
Jacksonville scared the shit out of UNC. The Tar Heels found a way to come out on top, 11-10. Duffy and Petramala both held scoreless.
Friday Night Lights under the sparkling snow in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Devin Lamprin lit the lamp in double overtime. Fairfield 14, Lehigh 13.
Holy cross. They did it. Mr. Botek buries the hatchet in double overtime to beat Hofstra, 9-8. Thing sucks. Welcome back to Game Day. Sorry, some technical difficulties, some frustration as the host here. We do it live. We're always live, so that stuff happens, but we continue on. We have a very special show for you all today. We're going to catch up for just a few minutes, and then we'll get into the Gary Gait interview and name our Hackey's Hack of the Week. And then after that, Brett Makar is joining for Pick'em, powered by ECD. It's going to be a fun episode. Just going to catch up for a minute. A lot happened in week 1. A lot of indoor games, as we all know, and it's kind of been the topic we've beat like a drum. So we'll stop talking about the weather, the indoor games, the cancellation, and all that, but focus on the positives of our game, because there were a lot of positives. Mike, I'll start with you. What did you like from this past week?
I'll talk about a positive, and you already briefly mentioned it, but gotta give a shout out to a few bottom 10 D1 teams that are not playing like bottom 10 D1 teams. They might be surpassing that name and leaving it in the rearview mirror. And I'm talking about Queens beat Lemoyne this week convincingly. And before you shit talk Lemoyne was the 1 seed in the NEC last year, hosted the NEC tournament. Holy Cross beating Hofstra is a
Holy
big
Cross.
win.
Yeah.
Holy Cross, the purple punching bag, no more. And lastly, and this one hasn't really been talked about, Mercer beating Marist. Great win for Mercer. Marist is a good team. And from my understanding, Marist was, I think, projected to be this 2 seed in the MAC this year. But historically, they're like more middle of the pack. So great win for Mercer. Got to shout out those 3 teams. And lastly, before we move on, I'm starting to kind of come up with a name for some of these games called the Lax Rat Bowl. And these are games that if you're watching the game, the full game, and you have no affiliation whatsoever, you are a lax rat. And the one that just happened this past weekend was the NJIT St. John's game at 5 p.m. Super Bowl Sunday on YouTube. It was a YouTube stream with no commentary in a bubble in Mount Olive, New Jersey.
Yes.
And I watched that whole game.
Yes.
But I know I'm
Yes,
a lax
Michael.
rat. But if I'm just letting you know, if anyone else watched that full game and has no affiliation with either of those teams, you yourself are a lax rat, and you could pat yourself on the back. All right?
Yeah, come
Congratulations.
on the show. Come on the show.
Come on the show anytime, please.
Hayden, anything quick?
Yeah, no, Mike, I like that take. A lot of upsets this weekend, which is good to see. You know, it's kind of refreshing. Like, there's some of these teams you mentioned, Holy Cross, Mercer, teams that have kind of just been bottom of the pack for a long time, and to see them get meaningful wins is awesome. So I like that the tides are changing a little bit. The landscape's getting shaken up. So, yeah, I like that take a lot. A couple other ones, Detroit Mercy gave Michigan a tough game today. They lost 11-7, but Michigan's a good team. Bellarmine played Ohio State pretty close. I think they were down by 1 going into the half. They lost by 5, but, another team that's like, these are potential teams that we're going to see in May in the tournament, if they win their conference.
Jacksonville, too.
Jacksonville's another team that, in my opinion, is a top 20 team right now. Like, you never like to value losses, but, losing to Rutgers and UNC by 1 goal each, they're going to be a great team this year. And I think, we're really starting to see some of these teams come out of the woodworks, and I'm excited to see some of these other teams get going that haven't played yet. So, a lot to look forward to.
One of my other takes, you mentioned Jacksonville, was that Jacksonville is going to win the ASUN, and they're going to really, really give a team a hard go in the first round, possibly upset of the playoffs.
We've seen this before from Jacksonville, though. It's this early season. We're playing in the warm weather. You're not. Welcome to our environment sort of thing. I don't know. Is it sustainable? Like, can they go win a conference tournament after playing through a conference? We've seen it not turn out their way before, so I wouldn't value this too much and start saying ASUN favorite at this point, but it is promising. It is promising. We're going to get into our next segment with head coach Gary Gait. Let's get into the interview.
So both things were wrong.
Do it.
Hello.
Okay.
We can hear you.
We can hear you now.
Magic? No, it was frozen. It wouldn't. Like I went down to Mike and I tried switching it. It wouldn't move off of my iPhone even after I turned it off.
Brett, you're fired. You're done. We got to start cracking skulls here because that's unacceptable. Sorry about that.
Don't worry.
How's it going, Coach?
Great.
Good. Did you guys have practice tonight? I assume.
We practice at like 10:30 in the morning.
Oh, I like
So we were all in the office. We just watched the Hopkins game together as a staff, and then we all left.
That was
Nice.
different than I was expecting.
Last 2 minutes, Hopkins was up by 2. I assume they won.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
it finished.
They took it away.
That was the final.
Towson had one more shot and they couldn't can it. But we'll get into it if you're ready to rock. I know you're busy and probably dying to go home at this point. So
I am home actually.
you are
Well, that's
Yeah.
great.
After the game was over, I drove home.
awesome.
Nice.
Is this the home office you got set up there?
It's literally my wife's down in Miami at our place in Miami, so you'll die, you'll laugh because I'm literally in the apartment, and I have like my screen set up, and I'm at the kitchen table.
It's awesome.
But my wife's down in Florida for another month, so I work. I'm watching the Olympics on the right, and I got my work couple of monitors.
Nice.
I'm
Perfect
good to
setup.
go.
What's your favorite winter Olympic sport?
And I even got my big vibe board here for when I'm working on projects for Gait lacrosse.
Nice.
It's awesome. The Vibe board. That's a new one. I haven't heard that.
The vibe board.
It's basically a smart whiteboard, but it's great for sharing and modifying designs and stuff. So it's good.
Nice.
What's your winter Olympic sport? What are you most excited to be watching?
I got hooked into curling last night. The U.S. and Italy co-ed, and I had to go to bed before it was over. U.S. came back and won, so yeah,
Yep.
great.
That was an epic finish.
Yes.
You're not a figure skating guy?
I got to be honest, I'm not. I'd rather watch speed skating, which is on right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? Cool.
It's a great sport.
They fly.
Love speed
fly.
skating.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thanks for hopping on. This is exciting. You guys got a big game coming up Friday, but I wanted to catch up. We had some open-ended items from our last conversation. The big topic was the locker room. I think you talked about a golf simulator, a sauna. We threw the idea of a hot tub. Not sure what happened, but what's the current state?
All right, so the locker room is still waiting to be done. We've added an additional step, and that's redoing all the showers and everything, which also unbelievably is costing $300 a shower.
No problem for Syracuse.
Yeah,
Not an
my
issue.
God. Well, the issue is trying to get something done. So the
Yeah.
lockers have been designed. They're ready to go. We're waiting for the summer to start. But I will update you on the golf simulator.
Yes.
Definitely.
We got proof of life there. It's set. It's set up in a room.
Yeah.
I've only been denied about 5 times, and it should be ready by the end of the month.
Nice.
So for all I don't take no very well. So I'm like, we can solve that problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we solved a bunch of problems and we've gotten through it, and it should be ready by the end of February. So I'm pretty excited about it. Looks good.
Nice.
That's awesome. I would expect once it is done, we'd see some montage on social media. It'd be all over the place.
No,
Because
you're going to see the guys in there playing and stuff, and when it does, I'm sure they're going to want to post it.
very exciting.
Yeah.
Hey, we have an update for you. I know you met Mike out and about in Syracuse after the game
yeah.
on Saturday against St. Joe's. Mike's a new resident to Syracuse.
He was mentioning that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm currently filming from Radisson in Baldwinsville, New York right now. But the big question for me was, outside of going to watch Syracuse lacrosse play in the Dome, which I did last weekend, great time, you got to give me some recommendations what to do in Syracuse, what to see.
Is there something
I have
to
no
do?
I have no idea. I don't know. Your favorite spot to, food, anything.
Well,
if you got like a couple, one, anything would be helpful.
Oh, well, downtown Possibilities is an easy go-to because it is good and it's quality, it's a good environment, and it's always open. It's one of the few restaurants that's open 7 days a week. So it kind of brings me back being in Syracuse here to, when I was a kid, there were stores closed at about 5 or 6, and a lot of stores weren't open on the weekends. You had special Saturday hours, and Sundays everything was closed. And here, that's kind of the way the restaurant business goes. Saturday they're open, but Sunday pretty much everything's closed. Monday you're hit or miss, 50-50 for being open, and and
You're really selling it.
I am, but the university's its own separate entity, so
Yeah.
it's a non-issue. You're so busy up there, and there's lots to do, and that I just don't. I stay away from the students and hang out in other places.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's nice. So are you? I know you mentioned you have a place down in Miami. Are you there kind of all throughout the off season, or kind of go back and forth? There is no off season.
I'm like off season. I get. I work from there and travel from there between semesters. So it gives me about a month or so I'm down there, and then I fly to the convention or drive to the convention and fly to recruiting events on weekends and work out of the place down there. It's a great way to reset for the lovely Syracuse winter, especially the one we're having now.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Mike, how you feeling about that?
I was saying I've never been so happy. It's like it got to like 35 degrees today. I've never been so happy to be in the mid 30s in my life. It's been a rough one. That's for sure.
Well, I can tell you we're negotiating to get our outdoor field plowed so we can practice out there next week.
Yeah, that was a nightmare at St. Lawrence. They'd like tear up the turf. It was like subcontractors and everything. It was like a total nightmare for Coach Mo to get our turf plowed.
The positive is that it looks like it's going to be in the upper 30s, which will be nice and balmy to practice outside. So it'll be great.
Yeah, this is one of the big topic in the media, which I'm sure you haven't paid any attention to, is lacrosse season. When should it start? Why are we playing all these games?
I seem to be the poster child from what I saw.
Yeah. Dan doesn't spend a lot of time on social media, Coach. I saw you had a announcement that Inside Lacrosse.
It was not an announcement. That's the funniest part. The guy asked me the question.
Yeah.
And then it made it like I just came out with this proclamation that we should move the season back. Well, you asked me. Yeah,
I mean, is there, now that we're in a bit more of a relaxed climate, right, is there anything that's changed about that opinion? Like
But, obviously having the Dome, I don't mind playing early, but I just think it's hard for other teams, obviously.
Yeah. Catching up though, you're seeing a lot of indoor football field houses. and
Yeah.
nothing like the Dome, but like a lot of short fields, a lot of let's use the football sidelines. I mean, we watched the Utah-Delaware game, week 0, and it looked like a 80-yard field. I don't know if it was, but it looked short.
It was definitely, most of those indoor fields were the width of the football. I think Maryland played on a wider one, but
Yeah.
other than that, they were all narrow, which watching, who was it? The Virginia game, that was awfully narrow. Playing Colgate, both running 10-man rides inside in a super narrow field. There was a lot of turnovers.
Right. It bodes well.
Yeah.
Well. This week, I mean, actually, no. Let's talk about what you guys have done so far because it's been fun to watch. I mean, St. Joe's 20-2. It felt like a lot of things came together that game. And actually, I want to talk about your defense for a second. And we have a new segment because we're starting to get sponsors because we're figuring our shit out a little bit. So we got a sponsor. It's called Hacky's Lacrosse. Have you heard of Hacky's, Coach?
Nope. I can't see. The camera's not showing. There you go.
So they're essentially mini lacrosse sticks for kids, adults, whatever.
Yeah.
And they got pads on them, so you can.
Oh, there you go. There's no way you're going to hurt your little sister with that one.
No. I've tried many times. But so we have a segment with them called Hack of the Week, and we're essentially giving awards to the defensive side of the ball, which doesn't get featured as much as it probably should. So I'll let Brett talk about who our Hack of the Week this is, and it has a lot to do with Syracuse.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've built this partnership. Like Dan said, lacrosse media doesn't talk about defensemen. They don't talk about goalies. So what we do is we pull 3 people every week. Our fans vote on it. 2 of the people who were mentioned were, one, Jimmy McCool, your goaltender, and Riley Figueres, one of your close defensemen, the last being Connor Kem of BU. The winner of that is Jimmy McCool. So rather than us have our own opinions, we'd love to hear from you about, why Jimmy deserves to be the Hack of the Week. So we'd love for you to talk about him if you don't mind.
I'll talk about both those guys because they were both outstanding. Jimmy's dialed in this year. He's a man on a mission, so he's been putting in a lot of extra work. But more importantly, I think he's been really focused on his mental game and being relaxed and watching the ball. And I think you're not seeing him jump all over. Like last year, if you watch some film from last year, he was much more active in the cage. And I think he's just, he's mentally done the work, and he's now standing in the goal and he's watching the shots and he's reacting to them, as they're shooting, as to jumping before they released. So he's been, he's seeing the ball real well. He's playing great, just an outstanding job. And it goes to show you can always improve. And he took it upon himself to make sure that he was better this year. And so far, so good. And then Riley Figueres, there's another guy that just, Coach O's always like, he gets no credit, that guy. He covers the best guy every game on it. He's our top cover guy, and he shuts guys down left and right, but he doesn't get a lot of credit. So, just he'll continue to shut guys down. That's what he does. So, he's going to have a big challenge ahead of him with the Maryland squad this weekend.
Absolutely.
Where's 11, too, which I feel like is a historic defensive number at Syracuse. I can think of a number of guys who've worn that. Well, when we started this award, it's our second week, so when we started this award 2 weeks ago, first name that came to mind when I think of hacks is Billy Dwan. I just think he's a hack and just a meathead, and you don't want to play against him. Is that fair?
That's fair. He'll you're on his team. He'll hit you late once in a while, even though you're on his team. But that's good. He's feisty. He keeps guys honest. But probably Chuck Kaczynski. If you were to poll the teammates or the guys they probably least want to go against, especially for a ground ball.
Chuck.
Chuck. He breaks heads more than anybody. That I can tell you the truth. But he's got great technique where he doesn't bring the stick really far back, but he swings really hard, like a really hard chop.
Is it a manufacturing issue, or is it just the strength of his checks?
He's broken all kinds. Trust me, it doesn't matter. Certainly the prototypes, he broke a little more of those when we're testing models that aren't not fully manufactured with the best materials. But We expect that.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. And, I mean, yeah, your first 2 games of the year, you guys have been great. You have a loaded senior class, I think, especially on offense and defense. It's always, I feel like teams really ride off their senior class, and you guys have a great one. A lot of guys who've been playing for a ton of years. How has that been, like, kind of getting to know them over the years? Like, obviously you're with them every day, but is it a little more special now that they're all seniors, guys who've been on the field and have really, like, put everything they've had in this program over the last couple of years?
It's fun to go to work every day. They're a great bunch of young men that work really hard, and we get our highest GPA ever and
Wow.
highest QM ever, and
2-2, 2-3,
Yeah.
2-4. What's that?
yeah, no, it's actually like a 3-2.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
Sure.
Yeah, it's not like the old days. Guys are dialed in. So it's part of our focus. Taking over the Syracuse team was to let's help these guys have a great experience here, do well in the classroom, so they can go on and do whatever they want afterwards. And we've had really good buy-in, and we got some really good culture right now. So it allows you to really have good grades, have fun. And these guys, they came in and they came on a mission, like you said, a mission to bring Cuse back. And I think it was nice that we made it to the Final Four last year, and they were able to get a taste of it. And this year they want more.
I love that. Yeah, and it says a lot about the culture, just first thing you say being their grades and the team and the culture instead of, winning games and stuff. And we hope you guys are back in Final Four in Charlottesville at the end of the season. I want to talk about this week's game a little bit because that's, I think, one of the main reasons we want to have you on the show is we want to fill that stadium up on Friday night in the Dome. There's going to be, obviously, a ton of people watching, ton of people there, Maryland fans, Syracuse fans. I just think this is, in a lot of ways, like for a regular season game, I don't think the stage gets any bigger than this. And, I mean, you just said it. You love going to work every day. When you go to work on Friday, I mean, that's going to be an awesome moment, awesome time. Can you talk about just what it means to be in the Dome when it's rocking like it's going to be Friday night?
Oh yeah, we're working hard. We do some extra media all week, and I actually try and take the pressure off my players, and I make all my coaches get on radio shows, TV shows, and Syracuse, they actually cover us, and we're important here in the news, so they actually come and they do interviews, and it's great. Like that type of coverage is awesome. Like you can't get that anywhere else. So we actually get the week doing that. That's why I was happy to jump on here this week, because it's just another opportunity to try and grow our attendance. I think 2 years ago, I can't remember the attendance exactly, but it was 9 or 10,000, I think, somewhere in there. And last year we got up about 12,000, I think, Notre Dame game, and we're trying to get to 15. I don't know if it'll be this game, but by April, if we keep playing well and keep winning a few games, I think our Syracuse sports fans are dying for some championship play and some really good sports. And we struggle a little bit in football, and basketball's okay, but not our best. And we're hoping that we can be that shining light for the athletic department this spring.
It's awesome. It's awesome. We're fired up for the game. Fellas, anything else for Coach before we move on to our next segment here? We want to obviously get as many people talking about it. If there's anything we can do or say or clip or to get people there, that'd be great.
Well, again, we also like to jazz up the experience. This is what we call a Tier 1 game. We have 4 of them this year. Maryland, Georgetown, then we have UVA and Notre Dame. Oh no, UVA and Duke, and those are our Tier 1 games. And on those games, we open up our field level suite We bring in smoke and lights and fire for our intros, and we get a lot of our alums back, and they come out on the field for warm-ups. So it's a real fun atmosphere for the players, because they get all that stuff down, involved with them, and then they get to look up in the stands and see great crowds most of the time. So we're hoping for a big one. Should be fun.
Tier 1 game, boys.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it just the opponent? Like, what makes it a tier 1 game in your opinion?
I'm assuming the ticket office determined that.
Yeah.
Because you know how fun they are? You know what they do on a tier 1 game compared to a tier 2 or tier 3?
I know.
Yep, they raise the price. That they do.
I hear you. So it's a tier 1 premium, is what you're saying, basically.
That's what they determined. So in the
You
past,
just focus on lacrosse. They handle the ticket prices.
absolutely. I just,
Yeah.
I try and use as many comp tickets as I can get people there and get my friends there and all that. So it's great.
Yep.
But it's like you said, you're looking for something to do Friday night. One thing to do in Syracuse, and that's go to the Dome for the Syracuse lacrosse. That's the only thing there is to do.
Perfect.
That's right.
I think it's a perfect bow for this interview.
Absolutely.
Now I'm fired up for Friday. So, Coach, really appreciate it. This was a big privilege for us, and
No
good luck
worries.
the rest of the way. We're going to be following very closely. You guys are on TV every freaking week, so you can't really avoid Syracuse if you're a lacrosse fan.
Well, what I love about lacrosse, everybody's online, so you get to see them all. It's great.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
You guys
Awesome,
have
Coach.
a good
Well,
one. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Coach Gait, I mean, he's such a beauty. He's a lax rat in every way possible.
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
He's the best.
The vibe board.
Yeah. It's awesome.
I think
Great at-home setup. He is just the best, man.
Yeah.
I
So
think he was
grateful to have
telling
him
me
on the
to
show, you know?
to take my girlfriend out to possibilities for Valentine's Day. I think that's kind of what he was getting at.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? Are you going to do it?
I think I have to. Maybe I'll see him out there with his wife's in Miami for a few months, but
Yeah.
one day.
Oh, no.
You go on a double date.
That's the dream, isn't it?
It is. It's a dream double. I want a vibe board. I want a vibe board.
That would be a good investment for the studio. That should be great, like right here.
Yeah.
We could
draw
up
plays.
Yeah.
We can draw our merch. We can draw our new merch concepts.
Right.
So it's a good plug, huh? Good plug. See it. The CLG store is up. It's up and running. We're still working on it. Still going to add stuff, but there's a lot of cool stuff in there, and we're going to start to wear stuff on the show. People have already been buying stuff. There's hats, hoodies, shirts. There's a college collection, so you can find your favorite team's colors. If you don't see them, just tell me and I'll add them because I have that power. We have that power. Excuse me. So go to our store. Go check it out.
Yeah, I would just add, if you're a graphic designer and, have a knack for graphic design, I guess, shoot
That would make
shoot
sense.
those files our way, and, maybe we'll get them on a T-shirt or something like that.
We have a graphic designer, but we love competition.
Yeah. See what you got.
Cream the crop and rise to the top. Next, we have Brett Makar, a Maryland alum, an absolute stud. We were just going through his accolades, and it's laughable how many accolades this guy has. Just to say a couple, he's the number 3 overall pick by the Atlas in 2023, 2-time first-team All-American in every single poll. He was a 2-time Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. He was the first defender to wear the number 1 jersey since 1993 at Maryland. It was Todd Harrison was the last guy. Shout out Todd Harrison. It goes on like it's pages long. Like it took a minute to load on my.
It was buffering.
Yeah,
You got the beach ball.
No, we already recorded. He's the man. All right, let's get into this CLG pick and powers by East Coast Eyes with Maryland legend Brett Makar. Hey Brett, what's going on, man?
Boys, what's happening? How we doing?
What's up? Good, brother. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for making time to join. Really appreciate it. I hope Eric didn't give you too much of a hard time, and it was easy for you.
No, 100%. I actually, it's funny. I told Eric in the past. He kind of, said, "Hey, you should check out. My buddies are doing this podcast. I think you'd like it." So I'm familiar with you guys. You guys do a great job. You guys got a lot of good insight. See the game in a good light. So I was excited about this.
Don't give us too much credit. We're more slapdick than you think. Figure we need people like you to come on here and give us some real legitimacy. So we appreciate it, man.
No, my pleasure. My pleasure.
I played with Eric at in high school in Mass, and then played with him at Hobart for three years. So he's all-time best friend of mine. We all played together in high school with these guys.
We're growing, and we're having better guests, and it's not taking as much convincing nowadays to get people on. So I appreciate hearing you're a fan, and I'm stoked for the segment.
Yeah, this never happens.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, I gotta follow Gary Gait. This is a big slot. So
yeah, good episode to be on.
Yeah, right. Seriously, I'm playing out of my realm myself. That's big time.
Oh, yeah.
Quick story. Eric Holden. I tell him all the time, or anytime I see him. One of my favorite Terp goals. He was, in the training room a lot. He was dealing with a shoulder for a lot of the year. But in the Big Ten championship, he had a lefty up the hash goal that kind of put the game to sleep. So anytime I see him, I'm like, that was one of my all-time favorite Terp goals, just because he battled through the year and kind of was able to have a huge moment. And I think that was the nail in the coffin in that game. So
that gave me goosebumps, man. He had like the best. I hear more about Maryland than I do even Hobart with him when we're telling war stories and stuff. And that's so cool. He obviously met a ton of good guys like yourself. I have a few goals of his. He didn't score a lot of them because he was battling injuries, and it's a pretty thick depth chart you guys got there at Maryland. So it was a tougher go than Hobart. But he's the man. We love him.
No doubt.
Love Lax. He's a rat. He's a rat for sure.
No doubt. No doubt.
Are you living in New York City nowadays?
I am. I'm on 30th and 3rd. So it's a good spot, able to kind of get everywhere I need to. When I first graduated from school, I was commuting from Westchester. I was still in Yorktown when I finished up for Maryland. So when I made the move, I kind of wanted to be able to get everywhere easily, walk everywhere, get where I need to go. So checks that box.
That's awesome. Are there a lot of Terps in the city? From what I've heard, there are.
Growing. I think when I first got to Maryland, it was kind of the thing to stay in the Baltimore area, move to D.C. But as time's gone on, there's been a few, kind of older Terps that have done a good job convincing guys to get up here. So it's a growing crew of guys, but get to see them often. It's good for everyone, good for the program, good for the alumni network. So happy to see it.
Is there a routine, or do you guys have is there a place you guys go to watch games together? Because, I mean, our alma maters, we can't watch them at bars because we'd have to go up to the bartender, who's ever behind the bar, and say, hey, log into this, channel, use my passcode. It's, Sydney Sweeney, whatever.
Here's my school email.
Yeah. So it's a little bit different when you're a Maryland alum and you guys are on ESPNU, Big Ten Network, all that stuff. But do you have any routine for game day?
So, this spring, the guys honestly give me a lot of grief because they're regulars at Lydia's. And then I know a bunch of guys are getting together Friday for the game down at Schaefer's. But Lydia's was kind of their spot in the fall. I'm sure they'll, carry that over into the spring. I got to be more of a consistent regular with those guys. But yeah, I would say, those are kind of the spots that you could find some Terps on a Saturday afternoon.
Nice. How many do you ever go to games live and see any Maryland games in person?
Yeah, we're doing Friday night. Maryland plays Delaware. We do kind of an annual bus trip. Last year we took a bus down to Princeton, watched the Terps, and then it was the anniversary for the 1975 Maryland National Championship team. So a lot of guys went down when they played Hopkins. Which was pretty neat. They honored, guys that are, getting up there now, and they're wearing, F. Hopkins shirts, and they were like so proud to be back. So you get to see kind of old timers that, love Maryland more than anything. Always kind of gives you some reflection and think about how much it means to a lot of people. So that was neat. But yeah, I try and get down for a game at least once a spring. Probably be tougher this year with the PLL schedule getting extended, but looking forward to the bus trip. That'll be kind of neat Friday night game.
Nice.
That's it. The PLL schedule getting extended. I mean, that's something I've heard about a little bit. I don't know too much about it. You probably know more.
I mean, Brett, you know more than all of us, but it got pushed back 2 weeks, was it?
Yeah, so last year training camp was the week before Memorial Day.
Right.
And now training camp will start the third week of April, and our first game will be May the 8th. So things kind of got bumped up, 2-3 weeks. Training wise, you got to kind of start ramping things up now if you want to be ready for then. It's kind of been tough with the weather. So, definitely a little bit of a curveball, but find ways to get ready. I think it's exciting. In some ways, obviously, it creates more opportunity for guys that are currently playing. I think there's going to be some guys with the college players not being able to come over right away that'll get some opportunity, or maybe that have been in the player pool for the last few years that are, gnawing at the bone to get a chance. We'll get a shot. So number of pros and cons, but, for me as someone going into their fourth year, definitely more positives, I would say.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's our chance, boys.
Yeah, I'm sure. I hope you guys kept the stick in your hand. You never know. You never know when that phone's gonna ring.
We gave Coach Bates for the Archers shit. He was on our show, I think our first season, and we were like, "Why didn't you recruit any of us?" And he froze up a little bit. But no, we weren't on any big boards by any means, even though I still think I should be. But that's a story for another time. It's okay. Playing for the Atlas, you're in New York. Like, do you train with your teammates? I mean, like the regionality of the PLL, I know, is so arbitrary in a lot of ways, but when it's New York, I feel like it's a little bit different to some extent, because I know for a fact, I'd say if you had to pick where most of the guys in the PLL are right now, my guess would just be most of them are in New York City.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So, like, are you able to train? Like, do you work out with guys? Do you go to the field, shoot, whatever? Is there any sort of off-season work that happens, whether mandatory or not?
So as a defender, it's a little trickier. I think it was always frustrating for me because the O guys kind of have it easy. Like, you could go shoot on a cage, or you can go and find a goalie, and you have someone where you could instantly kind of get that gratification of training. Whereas it's been difficult playing pro, unless you're kind of finding someone to give you dodges all the time, it makes things difficult. But a lot of the stuff I do is on my own. Maybe a couple times leading up to camp, I'll get together with a few of the Atlas guys that are in the city. But a lot of it is kind of the lacrosse stuff takes care of itself. My biggest concern is showing up in physical shape, being able to run, not get hurt, make sure my body's ready more than anything.
Yeah. It's a lot.
That is a battle. I play in a box league right now. I had a game last night. First quarter, I got tossed. My leg just just hurts to walk going to work this morning. It was like, oh, man, I haven't been hit like that in years.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. I never wanted to be the guy that got hurt playing and then had to be guy in office with an injury, because I think that's such a tough look. Just walk, like, there's guys that play softball or whatever it is, and I'm just like, these guys look like such jerks getting an injury, and then I was hurt a couple times this summer. They're probably thinking the same thing as me, like this guy, walking around with a limp or whatever it may be.
Got blood bleeding through in your button-down shirt.
Yeah, at the water cooler, talking about how it was a battle against the whip snakes last weekend. You guys should,
There's one play in mind.
They're like, what the fuck is a whip snake?
Yeah. Like, the amount of explaining you have to do sometimes, but it's all good.
You're growing the game, Brett, showing up the office hurt.
I know.
They were like, oh, so is it like a men's league sort of thing? Well, no, it's the kind of like the highest level of the sport.
If I had a dollar.
Oh God, that's awesome. Anything else before we get into? I actually have a question just before we get into pick'em. The number 1 at Maryland and what it means to wear that number. Spanos is wearing it this year. I from the outside, I mean, it's kind of, it's an important thing, it's a big deal, but on the inside, like, I don't really, not a lot of insight into how that's chosen, what the process is like. So I'm personally fascinated. Like, what's it like being asked to wear that number? How's that decision made? Is there any sort of, ritual around it? Because it's such a cool tradition that not a lot of programs have.
Yeah, I think it's kind of changed. Like when I first got to Maryland in the years prior, you knew who was going to wear the number in the fall. Like I remember, showing up and, Jared was wearing it for all of our fall practices. Logan Wisnauskas was wearing it throughout the fall. And then for me, it was pretty unique. It was, not decided. It kind of just, was pushed off in a sense. And then, prior to going back to school for the spring, I had a conversation with Tills and Jesse Bernhardt. They were kind of just like, hey, we think you should wear it, and you kind of have to. Like, this isn't an option, based off people we've talked to and, the other guys that have worn it. It just makes the most sense, for you to, keep this thing going. So it was neat, again, knowing that, other guys that had worn it before were the ones that were kind of giving you that confirmation, and you knew that they were the ones that, put your name in that hat. So pretty neat. I think Eric Spanos is going to do a fantastic job. Made of the right stuff, dreamed of playing for Maryland as a kid. You could tell it means a lot to him. I was with him for a few years, and great work ethic, all the things that you would say about someone that should wear the number, that deserves to wear the number. Now I'm excited to see what he does in it, what the team does this year. Neat tradition for sure.
That's so cool. And he's just a vintage, tall, handsome, long hair attackman, which lacrosse had been missing for a while. We're bringing it back.
I can't tell you how many people too, like, they were so eager to get it back on the offensive side of the ball. I'm like, the D guys got some love. It's a credit to Coach Bernhardt, I guess. He's done a great job, recruiting and getting good guys. But like even my brothers, like I remember when I was wearing it, they're like, dude, like we're pumped for you, but it's so beat that a D guy is wearing it. And I'm like, screw you guys. But it was a good little run. Good little run.
Oh yeah. Well, it's gonna come back. I mean, that's the beauty of it. It's just internal competition. Who's gonna wear it? It's a fight on both sides of the ball.
No doubt.
Awesome. Let's get into our pick'em. Brett,
Absolutely.
Take us there.
So, Brett, I'm not sure if you're aware, but for general context, this year we've announced a partnership with East Coast Dyes to sponsor a pick'em app that we've built. Right now, there's about 1,100 users on it. Everybody submitted their picks last week. We announced a winner, Cole Lax _2. He won a sweet Ion that Greg strung up himself.
Seafoam Ion. Badass.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Seafoam Ion. So this week we'll also have another prize announced. The number one on a weekly basis for points will get that award. But this week we have you on, obviously. Just a bit about ECD in general. They're moving the game forward. They innovate. They're authentic. They make their heads mesh everything in Maryland, which is really unique. They have a deep respect for the players, for the game. And I think they've done a great job sort of elevating the game, especially from a grassroots company. So we have our Pick'em segment. We'll run through 10 games. You will get your games. You'll choose a winner, a spread, talk a bit about, what the team's made of, why you made your pick. And so have a little bit of fun with it, have a hot take, and excited to have you on to go through it. Dan, do you want to start it off and get it rolling?
Yeah, I'll cue us up. So, if you haven't played before, to pick a winner is 5 points. To pick a spread is 10 points. There's 10 games. If you get all the winners right, you get a 25 bonus points. So spreads are really important, but to get winners is big time too, because if you get all 10 right, you get 25 bonus points. So let's do this. Brett, we're starting with you. This is going to be a tough one to start. Maryland, -1.5 at Syracuse, Friday night under the lights at the Dome at 6 p.m. Who you got for a winner? Who you got for the spread?
Terps winner. Going to double down Terps spread as well. I know it's well documented. I think Coach Tillman has a pretty good record against the Orange. I don't think anybody wants to be the team to ruin that. Both teams are going to be pumped up. It's going to be a sweet environment to play in, but got to go with the Terps. Think they get it done. We'll be close. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Cuse jumped on them, but the Terps poise, experience, all the things that you need to go into an environment like that and win on Friday night. I think they pull away a little bit towards the end, cover. Terps 13, Cuse 10.
Wow. All right. We're getting a score out of it too. Is Syracuse one of your favorite away places to play, or is there another place? Because you play in some big freaking environments, both in college and professionally, outside of just Maryland's stadium.
Honestly, I wasn't a fan of going to the Dome. So
Okay.
I grew up in Yorktown, and in Yorktown lore, a lot of amazing players that had gone to Syracuse. And then when I was in high school, we lost the state football championship in Syracuse. And anytime going up there, it's kind of just like a brutal drive. Weather, not typically great. When we played there at Maryland, I remember just going up there traveling. It was always a bus trip, and it was kind of brutal. And they have crazy fans. You always feel like the refs are going to give them a couple homer calls, all those types of things. It's neat for what it is, but, definitely not one of my favorite places to play for all the reasons that I'm sure the Syracuse players love it.
Yeah. Right. The homer calls, I haven't played there a couple times. Coach Gait is just buttering up those refs, giving them beers, giving them gift cards to Possibilities after the game. He was on the show, so I can give him shit. But I know his tricks. I know what happens. Some end lines, runouts that just don't go your way as an away team, even if you dive.
Yeah.
Mike, we're going to you. Penn State at Princeton. Princeton's a 4.5 goal favorite in this one. This one's on Saturday at noon.
I'm gonna go Penn State upsets Princeton. So I'm gonna go Penn State to win. Obviously, Penn State to cover. A lot of people here are gonna go Princeton winning here, possibly Princeton spread based off of the Villanova upset. And I just think Jeff Tambroni is way too good of a coach, and they have way too good of a roster to not bounce back. And I do think the importance of playing your first game with Penn State having 2 under their belt, I think that's a big factor as well. It's not easy. They have to start hot if they're going to beat Penn State. So I do think Penn State just has a great bounce back week and beats Princeton.
It's a big spread for a good matchup.
Yeah. I don't know if I agree with that one, but I think Princeton's just super talented. And Penn State obviously losing to Villanova. That was a game we didn't really talk about much, but I think Villanova is still a good team, but a lot of red flags for Penn State with me right now. So, Mike, I disagree with you, but, we'll see what happens.
It's not your pick.
Yeah, not your pick. This is your pick, though, Fry.
Yeah.
Yale at Army. Army's a 3.5 goal favorite. This game, Yale, just a disappointing season last year for a number of different reasons. So now they go to Army where they're 3.5 goal underdogs. This game's at noon. What do you got?
Yeah, I think so. Yale last year is their first season under 500, I think, in like 15 or 16 years or something like that. And then on top of that, they lost Chris Lyons, Leo Johnson to Maryland. They lost Brad Sharp in the portal as well. They had a really good senior class last year. A lot of them were hurt most of the year, so I think that's why they didn't, pan out the way a lot of people thought they were. They are super young this year, and I think that's good for them. I think they kind of have to go back to square one, reset the building blocks, kind of go through the process that got them to where they were, when they were winning national championships. With that said, I love Army in this game. They're 2-0, 2 good wins against UMass and Rutgers. I think the Plunkett brothers are just on another level. I love Sean Byrne and net for Army. So I'm going to take Army with 2 games under their belt, winning this game and covering 3.5.
I like that. It might be my lock this week. 3.5 goals isn't much. Brett, were you around with NIL? Was that a thing when you were still in Maryland?
Little sprinkle of it, but not to the extent that some of these guys are seeing now.
How much do you think Johnson and Lyons are making?
I don't know.
I
don't know the exact numbers, but now as an alum, they're worth every penny. I can tell you that. They keep doing that. We got an alumni email chain going, and all the guys were going back and forth. We do a fundraiser, Super Bowl boxes, and a March Madness bracket one, and I know those guys probably saw a good bit of whatever was raised, and again, they're worth every penny.
You guys
Good
got
answer.
It down.
Yeah.
Nice. You guys got it down.
Hey, I want to mention too, the next evolution of this app, Brett, is we're going to do a bracket challenge as well. So we got to make sure you guys are on there. You guys are
let's go.
Playing the CLG bracket.
And we can contribute to Maryland's reigning.
And
Give us the money. We'll help you handle it. And we'll divvy it out at the end. Next, Brett, going back to you here. Brown at Fairfield. This one's at noon on Saturday. Fairfield is a 1.5 goal favorite.
Yeah, this is a tricky line. You know, my heart's saying Brown. Logan Wisnauskas on staff. Terp. But Fairfield's got some dogs now. This is not the Fairfield of past. But I got to go Brown to cover that. Maybe Fairfield still wins by 1, but you know, I don't see it being more than that. Maybe an overtime game where Fairfield sneaks one in and they get the W.
Yeah, but then Brown would still cover, which is probably what I'm going to do. So take Brown spread. This would be a huge win for Brown if they won this game. All right, next one, Mike. Back to you. Virginia at Richmond. Virginia's a 1.5 goal favorite in this game. It's at noon.
Going another, I guess you can't even call it an upset anymore. It's only a 1.5 goal spread, but going Richmond all the way. I just feel like UVA is either overrated or they just still need to prove themselves after the season they had last year. Colgate let up a shit ton of goals against Penn State too. So I just really haven't seen anything yet, but I do think Hunter Smith of Richmond is a really good defenseman, and he's gonna handle McCabe Millen really well. So we'll see how their offense kind of reacts there, but I think Richmond's a really good team, and I like them with the pick.
Yeah, is this, in your opinion, Mike, is this, you know, Richmond going to the quarterfinals last year, is this a broken line? Do we have to start talking about Richmond, you know, just like we would talk about one of these ACC, Big Ten, or Ivy teams?
It's so close. It's like just there. Like maybe one more year, but like I could see them being the favorite here, and I wouldn't blink at that line. I'd be like, that's right. So yeah.
Brett's like, shut up. Brett's like,
No, I agree. I think people forget, like, you know, Richmond's probably one more successful clear away from beating the team that ultimately won the championship. Like,
yeah.
I don't know why. It's like every year we get to the beginning of the year and we continue to think of Richmond as, you know, not one of those elite tier teams, but I think they're right there. They're a player or two away from probably going to the Final Four.
And they're like a mid-major too that makes a run. Typically you think of like one guy who's like, oh, they had that kid. That's, you know, that's when they were really good. But I can't think of one name on I can think of names, but there wasn't one guy on Richmond, and they had an excellent season. They're going to continue to get great recruiting classes and be a great program. That'll be a great game on Saturday. Hayden, next one. Navy at Towson. Towson's a 1.5 goal favorite. This one's at noon. They just lost a tight game against Hopkins. We're recording on a Tuesday night.
Yeah. And, you know, I watched most of that Hopkins-Towson game. I was really impressed by Towson. You know, I think Hopkins is a really good team this year. I know that a lot of people are saying, you know, they're not, but I think they're good. I really like the way Towson fought against them. You know, it's crazy that we're still talking about Mikey Weissar. Sorry, we're getting a call here.
Sorry.
It's a PLL
You know, we're
team.
still,
It's Coach Bates.
They need you, they need a body for camp.
Jude, I gotta go. Keep
I
going.
gotta tape my stick. Yeah, no, I was impressed by Towson. You know, like I was saying, Mikey Weissar is still playing at a high level. He's a senior now. I think the last couple of years, you know, he's been coming into that mold as like, you know, a rising superstar, and at times he was a superstar the last couple of years, but now I think he's a proven, legitimate, like, Tewaaraton candidate, first-team All-American guy, and that showed in the Hopkins game. Navy only has one game under their belt against Iona. I like this Navy team, but I was really impressed by Towson earlier tonight, so I'm going to take Towson winning this game at home and covering the 1.5 point spread.
Brett, back to you. St. Joe's at Villanova. Villanova's a 2 goal favorite in this one. It's at noon on Saturday.
So my older brother is a St. Joe's Hawk. I think it would hurt our relationship if I went against the Hawks, so I'm going to go Hawks. I think they bounce back. I think going in the Dome to start the season is a gauntlet. I think St. Joe's is better than what that game presented them as. I think they bounce back. Another team not at Richmond level yet, but I think in a few years, if they continue to recruit at the level they did, I know losing Coach Ray hurts them, but that program's still going to be on a positive trajectory. I think they bounce back this weekend and get a dub.
I love it. Yeah, I took last week in my pick, I took St. Joe's spread against Syracuse, which just seemed like every goal they scored, like, you're an idiot. And then Syracuse scored again, and it's like, you're really a freaking idiot. Syracuse score again, and it's like, you don't know anything. Why do you have a podcast? And no, that was, uncharacteristics of St. Joe's. Hayden, you did allude to on last week's episode, you did tease the fact that Villanova could be America's team.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. I think, like, every year, like, if you look at the statistics dating back the last 10 years, like, Villanova always opens a season with a huge upset.
Yeah.
And I don't know what those games were off the top of my head, but I know that they beat Penn State a couple years ago when Penn State was ranked top 20. I know they beat Yale one year when they were ranked top 20. And that's kind of like what Villanova does. Hopefully they can keep it going. They did look good against Penn State, but, Brett, I like this pick because, like, you know, you're not too high on Villanova after a huge win. Like, you know, it seems like you kind of know that they're going to, you know, come back to reality this week against St. Joe's.
And St. Joe's also, too. Yeah.
Nova got us one year too. They got us the COVID year. It was, I think our second to last game before the pandemic ended the season. We played at Nova on a Tuesday. They got us. Keegan Khan.
Yeah. Right.
Keegan frickin' Khan. And then he was a Terp.
Then he was a Terp.
Yeah. And then we got to hear Joe Beninati call Keegan Khan's name. Keegan Khan fires, he scores.
Speaking of Eric, that's like his favorite thing. Eric would just text us Keegan Khan every like 20 minutes. It was so funny. That was like a running joke for like a while. Keegan Khan.
Jeez. Shout out Keegan Khan.
Shout out Keegs.
Mike, going to you, brother. Maryland game. Loyola at Hopkins. Hopkins is a 2.5 goal favorite in this one. It's at 1:00.
I'm going to take Hopkins to win and cover 2.5. I'm still not high on Hopkins, but the way I see it is Towson's a better team than Loyola, and Hopkins beat them by 2. And also last year, I took Loyola against the spread a million times, and they never covered. So I'm just like scarred. I feel like I just got to go Hopkins 2.5. Honestly, Loyola could cover, possibly upset Hopkins. Again, I'm not high on them, but that just feels like the right pick to make.
It is crazy how much that spread shrinks. I mean, last week Loyola's a 7.5 goal underdog against Maryland. Now it's Hopkins. Like, you kind of put Hopkins Maryland's in the same breath, but it's only a 2.5 goal spread. So, like, Hopkins, a lot of questions this year. A lot of questions. Hayden, to you, Providence at Harvard. This one's right in our backyard.
Yep.
Harvard's a 5-goal favorite in this one. It's at 2:00.
Yeah, this is always a good early season game. Harvard came in preseason ranked 12, which I thought was high for them. They lost Sam King last year, who was a stud for them, Tewaaraton finalist, and obviously had a good year in the PLL. They do keep the majority of their offense. I think 5 out of their 6 offensive starters from last year are back, minus Sam King. They keep their goalie, so I think they're good. I like Providence to cover here. I think Providence is underrated. I think Bobby Benson is a great coach. He's been doing great things. But I don't know if you played for Bobby Benson when he was at Maryland, but great coach.
Yeah,
they have some studs. Richie Joseph, Rhett Chambers, who I think had 9 points last week. So I like Providence covering this. I do think Harvard is going to win this game. They have a lot of weight on their shoulders this year. Coming in preseason ranked that high, younger team. So I like Harvard to win, but I like Providence to make it close.
Like that pick.
Brett, bringing it back with you, Brett. Georgetown is a 4.5 goal favorite at Penn. This one's at 3:30 on Saturday. Obviously, disappointing season for Penn last year. They were Mike's I'm always going to talk about this. Mike, they were a preseason national championship winner pick, and I think they had four wins last year. So, just shows you how much we know. Sorry to call you out, Mike. I've made some bad picks myself, but Brett, I'll let you take. Yeah, right. That's what we do here. Extreme ownership. Brett, who do you got for this one?
I like UPenn to cover. I think Georgetown wins. The 2 brothers that transferred from Colgate, those guys are legit. I think those guys are really, really good. That Penn State tournament game last year, they were hooping. But I like Penn to cover. I think Coach Ray is legit. I think he's going to do a really, really good job there. I think Cornell winning the Natty set a standard now for the Ivy League teams even more to get a buy-in from their athletic departments. Now that's the expectation, to go to Final Fours and compete for championships across that conference. I think that's what UPenn is going to expect with Coach Ray. I think they'll get there in time, and it starts with them covering versus Georgetown.
Great.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great pick. Great pick to bring us home. Awesome. Well, Brett, we really appreciate you joining the show, man. This is a huge privilege for us. So that was Pick'em. We just did it. It's really easy. If you haven't played yet, Go start, make a league, join the national pool. You can win prizes on a weekly basis. It's not too late. It won't be too late. It's never too late. Join, play. CLG Pick'em powered by East Coast Eyes. Brett, thank you so much for joining the show, man. We can't wait to watch you this late spring and summer for the New York Atlas. It's going to be an awesome season.
Thank you, guys. This was a ton of fun. Look forward to getting to meet you guys in person at some point this spring.
Hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
We'll join up for a beer at Lydia's, or what was the other place you guys watched?
Absolutely. Schaefer's Friday night. If you want to see some true Maryland Terrapins watching some Terps lacrosse, they'll be at Schaefer's Friday night.
Shoot, man, I'd love to go. We're split.
Oh yeah. We got to figure out how
We got
much.
too many games to go to.
We got to figure out how much the Amtrak's going to cost us to go from Boston.
We'll be bankrupt.
Well, hopefully your picks from last weekend can cover it.
Yeah, right. I need Binghamton to cover 5 goals tonight, and maybe there's a chance. Awesome, Brett. Thanks so much, man. Best of luck.
Thanks, Brett.
Appreciate it,
See you,
fellas.
brother.
Thanks. Take
Yeah.
care.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya.
Thank you all for joining. And as I just mentioned, go to pick'em.collegelacrossegameday.com. Go play Pick'em. Share this episode, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. The store we mentioned earlier, go check it out. There's some good stuff.
Great slate coming up this weekend.
Yep. Enjoy it. Starts Friday, so you got to get your picks in by that Syracuse-Maryland game at 6 p.m. on Friday. So just make sure you get them in. You'll get an email reminding you. They'll all be out by the time you guys are listening or watching this. So thanks so much. Enjoy the games. Cheers.